you as a platform, as a business provider, you should always remember about two sides. One side is buyer, the client, and the other side is seller, the content provider.
It's the eCommerce Master Plan podcast, here to help you solve your marketing problems and grow your e-commerce business. Cutting through the hype to bring you inspiration and advice from the e-commerce sector and beyond. Here's your host, Chloe Thomas.
Hello and welcome. It's great to have you here. Thank you for hitting play and choosing to listen to one of our inspiring guests. And inspiring is the word for this episode. We are chatting to someone from a different type of e-commerce. They sell digital products or digital items, as we need to refer to them in this episode, and nothing physical. They run a marketplace. They have 25 million users who've bought in excess of 100 million products. And they've done it all bootstrapping. It's in the gaming sector, primarily. They've taken a long-term view, I would say, to their growth plans. Bartosz, the founder, is going to be sharing some phenomenal lessons he's learned along the way. As you listen to this one, you will certainly be struck by how wise a man he is. That's the primary word that kind of came from me. But you're also going to get some really good strategic insight into how you go about building something big over the long term. Wise man sharing a lot of learnings and lessons for you. I thoroughly enjoyed recording this podcast. Could have talked to Bartosz for another 3 or 4 hours. So I think you're going to like this one. Plus, he gives us some brilliant top tips too. So make sure you listen to the end, because then you'll also get another version of my take on this episode. Are you part of the free Chloe's e-commerce club? Why not? It's my free online club where the whole e-commerce master plan audience can come together. It's all about helping you improve your e-commerce business, solving your marketing challenges, getting advice from other retailers who are facing the same challenges as you right now. And yes, I will personally be hanging out in the club Monday to Friday to help you too, which makes it the only place where you can get my help one-on-one. It really is a club all about you and supporting your business. Come on and join me now. Just go to ecmp.info/club. It's totally free to join. So come on, join me and hundreds of our listeners at ecmp.info/club. Do you have a problem only an awesome piece of e-commerce tech can solve? Is your e-commerce tech stack not quite fit for purpose anymore? Then you should check out the latest addition to the e-commerce master plan family. E-commerce tech. Yes, we've got a new person in the clan, or a new website rather in the clan. It's a website where you can explore the latest and best technology on offer. We're going through a hugely changing time in the tech landscape at the moment, and if you want to be bringing the best results you can in your business, then you need to be on top of what's going on in tech. Head to the e-commerce tech website and sign up to our email updates via ecmp.info/tech. That's ecmp.info/TECH. So ecmp.info/tech to find out all the best tools for your e-commerce store. And now to introduce our special guest. Bartosz Skwarczek is the founder and CEO at G2A, the world's largest marketplace for digital entertainment, enabling the trading of games and other digital items. Founded in 2010, they now have over 25 million users who have purchased over 100 million items. Hello, Bartosz.
Hello, Chloe. It's a real pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much for sparing the time to come on and talk to us, because I always think you should try and learn lessons from people who are doing similar things but in slightly different industries, and you definitely fit into that category for many of our listeners. So it's brilliant to have you here. But how did you end up in the world of e-commerce?
Thank you for kind words. Always when I hear them, it's for me a little bit too much. And my journey with e-commerce started 13 years ago, to be honest. Just after my university, I started my entrepreneur journey in very different kind of business. It was steel construction and steel trading. So
Wow.
Probably you cannot imagine something farther from the e-commerce. I was with my business partner, just two of us at the beginning. Within 5 years, we brought the company to top 20 steel businesses in Poland. And at that time, that was very big success for me. And I could say I am on the top of the game. At the same time, 3 years later, I was at the very bottom of the game. I had to sold my company and starting everything from scratch again. And then I started two businesses. One of them was consulting business, another was transportation. And one day I got an email, and an email was, "Hello, Mr. Bartosz, my name is David. Could you be my mentor?" And that's it. And I didn't answer the same day. So next day I got a long explanation what I should. And that was very interesting for me because I like this kind of perseverance. And I met the guy. I mentored him for 6 months. And after that, he said, "Hey, maybe we should start a company together." And I said, "Oh no, another one." And yeah, it sounds like G2A could never happen. And I asked, "What kind of business?" And he said, "Gaming, computer games, video games." And my answer was, "I think it's for children." And he said, "No, no, no, it's a great business. You will see." So I did my research, and I liked the research actually. It turned out that gaming business is bigger, larger. There are movie and video and music combined. And I said, "Okay, let's do it." We shook hands, and there was just two of us, four employees, one very small room in Rzeszów, 200,000 citizen city in Poland. So looking from New York or Los Angeles, you can say at the end of the world. And this is how it happened. That was the very beginning and my beginning in e-commerce.
Wow, so very kind of accidental in many ways.
It is. Actually, I believe that life brings you surprises. Life brings you opportunities, and you can use them, or you don't have to. My first business, I started just by opportunity. I was at my university. I had to earn money. I am not from very wealthy family, so I was writing the graduation papers for money basically. And one of the people that I wrote it for, he said, "Hey, there is a guy in another city, 100 kilometers, and he's looking for the CEO to the company, to the startup. Maybe you would like to start." And that was also accidental. And this kind of accidents I had many times in my life. I believe everyone has some opportunities, and it is just your choice to take it or leave it. What is more important from my perspective is what you do with it, because I saw many people that took the opportunity, and after that they couldn't materialize that or couldn't monetize that or couldn't turn it into the working business, because it's easy to start. The most difficult part is later.
Definitely. Well, look, you are many years down the line now with G2A. So, can you explain a little bit about what G2A is and what you're doing in the e-commerce space, the items you sell, etc., to bring our audience up to speed, please, Bartosz?
G2A stands for Gate to Adventure. And we believe that G2A is a gate to digital entertainment, the largest gate. We believe we open the possibility for people to play games, to buy digital items, to use the world that is coming and becoming more and more digital. We believe in democratizing of digital entertainment, and we believe that everybody in the world should be entitled to use it, to could have fun of it, to have it in a reasonable price. Because sometimes when you look at games are very expensive. $70 per game, it's a lot. Not everybody can afford to buy them. So what we created a marketplace. In one sentence, it would be like eBay for games. So we created this marketplace when sellers are competing to give the best prices. And that allows us to give this opportunity for people, for our clients, to buy these games, these items, this digital entertainment. This is what we do. We do it in almost 200 countries for 13 years, and we are the largest marketplace in the world of this kind. And we believe still that this is just the beginning. So our strategy for next year is very, very ambitious. There is so many things we have on our pipeline that we work, I would say, 24/7, day in, day out.
And you say you've got the sellers in the marketplace. Is that kind of individuals who've finished a game and are selling it on to someone else, or is that the creators of the games who are selling it direct to the players of the games?
Great question. At the beginning, I would say that very often people will look at the marketplaces, starting from Amazon, through eBay, through Etsy, and any other. They forget about sellers because the marketplace in general is dedicated for buyers, so everybody can come and buy. In our case, 25 million clients around the world can come and buy the products, the items in case of G2A. At the same time, on the other side of the platform, you have sellers, and sellers provide content. Content is the king, as we know. And in our case, we used to allow everybody to be the seller, in the meaning that individual seller, business seller, and among business sellers, also developers and publishers. But there is a but, and the but is quality. We have learned very fast that individual sellers are not taking care as good for the clients as we wish they care. So a few years ago, we changed our strategy, we changed our approach, and we said, okay, only business sellers, verified sellers, can be a seller on our platform. And of course, also we work directly with developers and publishers, over 300 of them. 300 of them is selling items at our platform. At the same time, thousands of business sellers, and our verification process is very strict. It's over 100 parameters that we check. We put a lot of emphasis of security. This is our learning from the past. We call G2A a feedback company. This is one of our values. And there was a time when we were not so strict about security. Now we are, I believe, on the top of the game when it comes to security. We received an award from the American institution, CNP, Cardinal Payments, very prestigious, to being the best team in the world when it comes to security. Next to us, it was Microsoft, Barclays Bank, Elavon First Data, who got these awards before us. So I believe we are really good at it. And going back to sellers, when you are a verified seller, so we checked everything, literally, starting from the UBO, the source of product, the platform, the country, etc. Then we are allowing you to sell on our platform. You could ask, hey, why sellers want to sell on G2A if that is so strict to go through the verification process? And the answer is very simple, because sell-through rate, which is the KPI, so key performance indicator that we use for checking how fast the item is being sold after posting it as an offer. And in case of G2A, it's 3 days. It's the best rate in the world. So the sellers, they know that when they start working with us, they have the best platform in the meaning of how fast and secure they can sell and get the money back, because this is the important part. So every seller wants to not only sell the product, the item, the voucher, the code, but also they want to get the money back. And you as a platform, as a business provider, you should always remember about two sides. One side is buyer, the client, and the other side is seller, the content provider. And this is what we do.
And I think that the trust element of the security and the verified sellers and everything must be, I mean, like we know in the physical product world that you have to build trust with customers for them to be willing to hand over their credit card details and hope the right item is going to arrive in the post. Building trust is really important. Although the, delivery is considerably faster in the digital item world, that trust is kind of has to be greater. You have to do more work to build that trust, so people know, they're not buying a dodgy DVD off some bloke down the pub. They want the prime content. So I would imagine all that work you put into verifying and having the right sellers and the right items can only reap dividends in terms of the consumer's reaction to coming and buying on the site.
I couldn't agree more. And I can share one learning that we got and that we've learned in a tough way, very tough way, because security was for G2A priority from the very beginning. But we couldn't inform the clients in the proper way about it. And I give you an example what happened. A few years ago, 2018, I was invited to Merchant Payment Ecosystem Conference. This is the largest conference in Europe, one of the top conferences in the world when it comes to payments and security. And I was invited as a keynote speaker of the first day. So 1,000 CEOs in one room. That was before COVID. And I was a keynote speaker about security because G2A is more or less 10 times better than the industry. So the average industry fraud rate is around 3.6. Average G2A fraud rate is 0.39. So it's around 10 times better. And I was invited to share how we do it, how we work with artificial intelligence, because we already started that many years ago. Even though in the very professional world of this C executives and the payments provider, we were known by that. You could go to the internet and see some negatives about us, negatives from the clients. And the learning was that for the first many years, we are a bootstrap company. So every dollar we spend, we look twice at it because this is our money. We don't have any wealthy investor. We had to earn our money. And for many years, we had this dilemma. Dilemma was, should we spend money on marketing or maybe on product, which is our platform, or maybe to improve customer experience, or maybe to do some public relation article that we are good at it. And of course, this PR article never happened for the first many years because there was always so many more important things to spend the money. And that was a mistake because we couldn't communicate properly to our clients. And even when some bad articles, and literally there was 5, maybe 7 situations over 13 years. Imagine 7 situations over 13 years. So super small amount of it. And we couldn't communicate in a proper way for the first many years. And even we didn't answer for those articles because I always thought that, hey, when you do business properly, you don't have to make an articles about it. Customers know about it from your platform. So customers loved us. And at the same time, we could see negative press. So my share here, my share take on how to say that would be if you are an entrepreneur and you want to scale the business, you want to build a really good business, you have to find the time and some assets to properly communicate what you stand for. Because if you don't do it, then somebody, sometimes your competitors, they will make it in the way you don't want to see. And then it's very difficult to get out of it. So that was the mistake that we did. And of course, now we have, I believe, very, very good, if not great, communication skills and teams. And we are very open and transparent. And we even do business media day. So we invite journalists and we open the company for them. And we say, hey, you can see G2A from the inside. You can ask any question, etc., being very open and transparent. But this is very important learning that we got over years.
Yeah, you've got to tell people about your greatness, don't you? And I think one of the other things I took from, my explorations of your business in preparation from this is that community seems to be a big part of what you do. There's the subscription program, G2A Plus, for the buyers or the customers. There's a whole referrals network through G2A Goldmine. You're obviously a marketplace as well. And then you're sponsoring big community events like eGames. Is that... I can imagine a lot of people think, well, they've got 25 million customers. Why do they need to bother about community? So how does that community and that kind of bringing your users together fit into things, Bartosz?
Community is your client, and your client is everything, because your client is paying for your invoice, for your salary, for your development, for the business, for the growth, for everything. And you have to take care about the client. And I know it's very obvious. You look at every platform marketplace and everybody is saying the same. Hey, the client is, we are client focused, or we are client obsessed, or. And fine, these are all great statements. At the same time, at the end of the day, it is very important what you do for client. So we started our business, the marketplace. The G2A company started 2010, but G2A marketplace started at the 2014. And at the very beginning, we asked a question, hey, what is the most important for the client? What are the key factors for the client? And since we always were gamers, we really well understood the client. And we said, all right, there are 6 parameters: prices, payments, range of products, user experience, security, and support. And we said, okay, I asked the question, what it takes to be the best, the largest marketplace in the world. And outside the company, everybody was laughing so hard. It's like, hey guys, you are from Poland, end of the world, no investor, super competitive industry, forget about it. It's impossible for you to build a big platform. But that's another hint for entrepreneurs. If you are building a startup, you will have many, many instances when everybody is telling, hey, stop doing that. It's impossible. It's too difficult. It's. And your job is not to listen to this. I know it sounds strange, but you have to have this courage, and you have to have this belief that actually you can build it. And don't forget about your people, because this is never only CEO success, never the founder success. There is always a team of people behind you, and they are equally important to the success of the platform, if not more important. I don't believe there is any CEO who built the company alone. And yet, we still can see a lot of CEOs saying, I did it. So if you want to be a successful CEO, you have to remember about your people. You have to remember that you are building the company with them. And that would be my tip. When it comes to the community, going back, Chloe, to your question, yes, from the very beginning, G2A was very present. We spent a lot of time and effort and money supporting esport teams, over 70 largest esport teams in the world were in our portfolio, so to say. So we were supporting them on many instances. We were the first company who in gaming world who started working really intensely with the influencers. So the marketing part of it, the building traffic part, because the podcast that you are running, I love it, by the way, it's about how to scale your business. So one of our strategies was to go with the influencers. And we work with over 1,000 influencers globally, including the biggest ones like PewDiePie and many great others. So that was another part when G2A was present and was very close to the community. And of course, what you mentioned, Goldmine, is a great program for influencers, and G2A Plus being a subscription model for the clients who are more dedicated to G2A, towards G2A. These were our internal tools, our internal products for them. Like, what can we do to share And we shared money with the influencers. We shared money with the developers with G2A Direct program. So up to today, G2A is the only one company in the world who shared the profits as a marketplace, who shared our profits with developers. So these are the ways that we combine those activities.
E-commerce Master Plan is supported by some of the greatest companies in the e-commerce sector. Here's a reminder of who they are.
Are you part of the free Chloe's e-commerce club? Why not? It's my free online club where the whole e-commerce master plan audience can come together. It's all about helping you improve your e-commerce business, solving your marketing challenges, getting advice from other retailers who are facing the same challenges as you right now. And yes, I will personally be hanging out in the club Monday to Friday to help you too, which makes it the only place where you can get my help one-on-one. It really is a club all about you and supporting your business. Come on and join me now. Just go to ecmp.info/club. It's totally free to join. So come on, join me and hundreds of our listeners at ecmp.info/club. Do you have a problem only an awesome piece of e-commerce tech can solve? Is your e-commerce tech stack not quite fit for purpose anymore? Then you should check out the latest addition to the e-commerce master plan family. E-commerce tech. Yes, we've got a new person in the clan, or a new website rather in the clan. It's a website where you can explore the latest and best technology on offer. We're going through a hugely changing time in the tech landscape at the moment, and if you want to be bringing the best results you can in your business, then you need to be on top of what's going on in tech. Head to the e-commerce tech website and sign up to our email updates via ecmp.info/tech. That's ecmp.info/TECH. So ecmp.info/tech to find out all the best tools for your e-commerce store.
It's time for the top tips round.
I love this section because it gives me and our listeners some really quick ideas for taking our businesses to the next level. Bartosz, I am fascinated to find out what your answers are to these. So are you ready?
Thank you. Yes, I am ready. Please shoot.
Okay. The book top tip. If everyone listening to this podcast agreed to take Friday off and read a book to make their business better, which book would you recommend?
I would recommend two of them actually, but Friday is not enough for them. So one from the psychology side is Tony Robbins' Unlimited Power, or even better, Awaken the Giant Within. This is a cornerstone for myself and absolutely top title when it comes to use your brain. And the second title is the latest book on AI part, which is Next Wave. The Next Wave by Mustafa Suleyman. And after this book, life will never be the same, in my opinion. I mean, you will see the world in a different way.
There's a recommendation. Life will never be the same again. Okay, the traffic top tip. Which marketing method do you either prize above all others or think doesn't get the press it deserves?
That's a question for 2 hours. But I would say there is no one, of course. Attribution model comes here. And I think working with influencers would be one of the best, and definitely supporting events, being a partner in a different ways. You can do that, being a partner with a prominent events. We did it recently with the Drift Masters European Championship. It's a great example, in my opinion. It brought us a lot of traffic. It brought us a lot of awareness and interest.
Excellent. Okay, the tool top tip. Maybe a collaboration tool, a social media plugin, a phone app, or just a way of working. Is there a cool little tool you use that makes you and your team more efficient from day to day?
You know, we use so many tools, and I personally also use so many tools. For collaboration, I love Miro, Miro, for especially creative work, which is in new normal. I mean, when you are working remotely, this is a great tool to put us closer and to have at least a little bit of natural way of creative process.
We do get Miro a few times, so loving that one. Miro for your creative collaborations, everybody. And finally, the carbon top tip. What's your favourite way to reduce the carbon footprint of an e-commerce business?
In my opinion, home office is amazing because you are using the same room, so to say, so we don't have to commute. There is so many instances when you are lowering the carbon footprint, and in our case, we allowed our employees to choose. So after the COVID, we said, hey, it is your choice. You want to work from home? Perfect. You don't have to use your car. You don't have to use the office, and so on. If you want to work from the office, please, you can do it. And in our case, 80-90% of the employees, they prefer work from home. Of course, hybrid is also possible, but that gives not only carbon, but also freedom to our employees.
Yeah, I think people don't talk enough about the positive carbon impact of work from home rather than traipsing into the office all the time. So I love that you've brought that one up. Thank you.
Of course, on the ESG side, you can do more and more and more, and this is probably never-ending story. We conducted materiality tests in the organization. We pointed a lot of topics on which we should focus in our ESG activities. We started G2A Academy to educate people about it and our employees about it. And we are also setting our first sustainable development strategy. Keep your fingers crossed.
I do. And I love that you're being so proactive with it all too. Well, look, Bartosz, it has been fascinating hanging out with you for this recording. You are a very wise man, and it's been a real privilege to be able to get your thoughts in front of our audience. But before we say goodbye, could you please let the listeners, those who've got their twitching gaming fingers going, where they can find you and your business on the web and social media, please?
Thank you. G2A.com. You can go to our site. You can go to LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. We are everywhere. And we will be privileged to have you. Thank you very much.
Lovely. Bartosz, thank you so much for being on the e-commerce master plan podcast and for being so generous sharing your experience with all of us. It's been a real pleasure.
My honor. Thank you.
What a wise man Bartosz is. Just so much to take from my chat with him. He's a very funny man as well. We did a lot of laughing in and out of the recording of that. So the big overarching thing that strikes me is that long-term vision. They're a bootstrapping company who's become the largest in their field in the world from the tiny country of Poland, tiny but important country of Poland. They really have clearly, after they had that learning about, we've been really focusing on the security, but we've forgotten to tell everyone, a bit where he was telling us about what I kind of visualize as you can't build a three-legged stool with one leg an awful lot longer than the other or it'll fall over. And I guess that's kind of what they were doing with the security. You've got to bring the other bits up as well. After that, they clearly got very, very focused on what they needed to do to deliver for their community. They made some huge changes, getting rid of physical products from the site, which they originally were selling, restricting who is allowed to sell in the marketplace as well. Huge, big shifts and bold decisions that they've made. But I think from hearing Bartosz talk, you can quite clearly see how they do the right research. They get to understand their customers, they understand their market, and then they make the right decisions and stick to those decisions going forwards. The commitment to the esport sponsorship, 70 teams working with 1,000 influencers to really focus on those long-term marketing strategies, which interestingly is a very similar thing to what we were talking about with Danny from the yoga company, who we interviewed a couple of weeks back. He was talking about that long-term strategy of building the relationships, building the influencers. So I think that was really, really important too. Trust, clearly always going to be a big thing in business. And that part he was talking about how they worked out what the key priorities were for their customer base. Those 6 key pieces they had to get right to get the customers coming back again and again, or clients, as Bartosz was referring to them. I'm going to be thinking about this interview for a while. I suspect many of you are as well. For a little refresher, you can always go and have a look at the show notes we put together on the website. They include the top tips and links to other things we've mentioned, and you can find them at ecommercemasterplan.com/podcast, or use our direct episode short link. Just put ecmp.info/ the number of this episode into the URL bar, and you'll be redirected straight to the correct page of the website. When you get to the website, please do add yourself to our email list, become a deeper member of our community so you don't miss out on any of the other things I share to help you improve your business. And if you liked this episode, then for another take on digital products, have a listen to episode 105, where we're talking to a game designer about how they sell their digital products online. Thank you so much for tuning into this and all the episodes that you do of the e-commerce master plan podcast. I bring you a new interview every single week because I want to inspire and help e-commerce business owners like you to succeed and thrive with your businesses, including progressing along the all-important path to net zero. So if you know someone this show can help, please tell them to listen to the e-commerce master plan podcast. I hope you have a great week, and don't forget to keep optimizing.
Thank you for listening to the e-commerce master plan podcast. Find out more at ecommercemasterplan.com/podcast.
Don't miss out. It's time you joined Chloe's e-commerce club, our free club that's all about helping you grow your e-commerce store. Join right now for free at ecmp.info/club.